Hey guys, Skinny Elephant here. We're back with more Euro videos, back with more sports videos about sports. I like saying that. It's like a, I don't know, it's fun to say.
It's your new catchphrase.
It's my new catchphrase.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, Group C, again, Germany in this one, so he's obviously stoked about that. So why not? Let's start with the big team. It is Germany in this group. Former world champs, looking to become Euro champs, looking to do what only two teams have done: won a major, won the Euros and a World Cup. And this German team can do it. Believe me, they're a very talented squad. And I don't want to take away too much from him because he's obviously wants to get into it. So I'm just gonna quickly mention that they're complete. They're probably the most complete team in this tournament. They have any position you look at, it's incredible. They're stacked with goaltending. Any three of those goaltenders could just jump in and play. They're that talented.
They can jump. Most of them can jump. Leno can start in most of the teams in Europe, besides Spain, France, and England, and Ter Stegen as well. And you know, hey, Ter Stegen's not there. Out of bring Adler, who had a team that he was goalie team of the season for the Bundesliga. Out of brought Wehrmann. Out of brought Karius. You know, you get to Neuer can be injured, Leno can be injured, Ter Stegen can be injured. You can bring all these guys up, and they'll still be basically just obviously not as good as Neuer, but they'll still be top goalies. They'll be, better than most of the goalies coming into the tournament.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of key members from that winning squad in Brazil as well. You got Andre Schürrle back, Mesut Ozil back, Khedira back, Draxler is back, Boateng, Hummels will be out for
first game.
Ukraine. I heard possibly second game too. I was hearing possibly second game, but he's a big part of that defense. Who are this? You pronounce it better than I do. Mustafi, Thomas Muller, Tony Cruz, Mario Götze. Just an incredibly deep team in all aspects. The only thing you probably lack is forwards.
Strikers.
Strikers other than Thomas Muller, Mario Gomez, Lucas Podolski. Not that they're bad players. They both did very well in the Turkish league. Just not like I said. They're aging, I guess, to say the least.
One thing I'll say about Lucas Podolski, which I feel many may disagree with me, playing for the club, I feel like he's lost his passion for the club. But when he plays for Germany, when he pulls a Germany shirt on, it's a completely different Lucas Podolski. It's an energized, revived, completely different player. He's a guy that come off the bench and he can score a big winning goal for us. And that's I'm gonna, not to mention, everyone loves him. He's one of the most respected and loved players that still goes around. He but he has constant communication with guys like Ronaldo, both the Brazilian and the Portuguese, both legends, with legends like Ronaldinho, like guys like Zlatan. Like, Podolski's a guy that you love, and he's a guy who's going to bring up the morale for the team.
Does a lot off the field too, with charities and whatnot as well. So I'll give him credit for that one. Does a lot off the field, and
just a genuinely great guy.
No, he is. I've heard many good things about him. He's just a really nice guy. He's a jokester, and he's a really.
As much as I love Lucas Podolski, the Euros is more than just Lucas Podolski. It's one of the things I loved about Germany, first and foremost, which I'll say over many other teams, that Germany is a team. One of the biggest problems which I have with teams that have superstar players like, say, Portugal with Ronaldo, which they actually are looking a lot better right now coming to the Euros, I'm going to say right now, or say like Argentina with Lionel Messi. They have that superstar talent. I think Portugal,
you can say Zlatan with Ibra too. Though.
Yeah, they just don't. They look better without them, and it's not that.
Well, not Sweden. When Ibra's missing,
they play much more collectively.
When Ibra's missing, though,
I've seen them play without Ibra, and they look very good. They don't have the strike force. They don't score as many goals, but as a whole, defensively, creating chances, putting shots on net, they look very good. But we're not talking about those teams. Sorry, again to get into that. Germany, I think they look very good. I'm having conflicting thoughts because I'm looking at the Germany team. We're the champions of the world. We're the world champs. And honestly, since the World Cup, we've looked nothing of the sort. We've not looked like we're the world champions, and we look like a shadow of that name. We do. I'm very conflicted on that, but I think coming to the tournament, they need to get their heads out of their asses and they need to play. I think Schweinsteiger, which many may disagree or agree with me, is a big kind of loss for the first upcoming games. I think he's a big leader for the team. A big loss, obviously, is the right back position. There's a toss-up between Benedikt Höwedes, Joshua Kimmich, and Antonio Rudiger. Rudiger had an ACL injury in training, so he's out, and they call up Jonathan Tah. One quick note on Jonathan Tah. I first saw this guy as a 17-year-old starting for Hamburg, which is my home team. Go Hamburg. Kind of garbage, but I still love them. As a 17-year-old, one of the most talented center backs I've ever seen, playing better than most adults I've seen, and I think he's going to be a generational player. And I just want to call it right now, Jonathan Tah. Hummels is going to be healthy. If Mustafi comes into his own, if he reaches his potential, Jonathan Tah is starting for Germany in the World Cup 2018 Russia. He is that good. If he can stay healthy, if he is healthy, he's not injured coming to the World Cup, he is going to be Germany's best. If he's a generational player, he's going to be an absolute legend. He's one of the most intelligent defenders I have ever seen. He has great physical, he's a physical player, he's really tall. He's decently quick, and just, I want to make that mention. Player, he's most likely not to play, but if he does, he's a definite player that you want to watch for the team. But moving on, our right back position is probably our weakest point. We have Jonas Hector, who's going to be a pretty solid left back. Our defensive capability is probably the thing that Germany worries about most. I really like Joshua Kimmich to play in the right back position, kind of like a reverse Lahm. I didn't like him as a center back, but for a guy who's 5'9", he has great physicality. He's pretty bulky for a guy who's 5'9". He's one of the most intelligent players I've seen, both offensively, creatively, and defensively. I think he can suit that role well. He's played there under Bayern, under Pep, and I'd really like to see him there. And if he does play, he's a definite guy you want to keep your eye on, and potentially he could be one of Germany's bigger players coming into the Euros. Another player I want to mention, Julian Draxler, if he gets a starting, because it's up for debate whether Gomez or Götze starts in the striker role. I would recommend playing for against teams like Northern Ireland, Ukraine, who are going to be more defensive. I'd start Mario Gomez, and then for teams like Poland and other teams that are less defensive, less compact, I'd start a player like Götze, who can get into space and create space for the team and help them build up play. And it's speculation that Götze is going to start in the wing, which I'd rather prefer Draxler. And if Draxler does play, again, I think he's going to be one of Germany's biggest players. He's going to have the time to shine, and when it comes to the big stage, Draxler steps up. That's the one thing I'll give Draxler. When it comes to the big stage, he steps up. Again, Mesut Ozil, coming off one of his best seasons for Arsenal, he's developed into a much more complete player. Depends how much energy he has left in the tank.
Imagine how many goals. Imagine how many more assists he would have had if Arsenal would have finished half his passes.
But my biggest worry about Ozil is Premier League is a very long season. There's a lot of games, and it's just about how much energy he has left in the tank. Ozil is known for his stamina. People were giving him heck when he first came to Arsenal, and he's played an incredible amount of games. He's put a lot of work in. He has an edge now. He has an edge that I have not seen before in him, and he is going to be my actual X factor. Because you can look at anyone in the German team. Anyone can play a big part, and that's the one of the things I love most. And just they love playing. They love playing together. They're a shadow of the team that I grew up to as a kid. Just loving how Germany play. They look like they have fun. They're not like that anymore, but with all these new players coming in, I think Sané is going to be a great player. I would have rather had Julian Brandt, which I think is a much better player, but I think Sané adds an element to the team that Brandt doesn't have, or the rest of the players don't have. He's a very quick player. He can make the move on the ball. Teams that like to counter him back, he can get behind the defense, and he's another guy I'd like to look out for. There's just so many names on this German team that are just good, and I can go all day, but I'm gonna try to cut short because sometimes when you get too emotional, you don't make too much sense and it's not rational. But this team looks good. I'm worried about if we can win it, because we should win it. We should win it. I think that's my biggest worry right now. I look at that Germany team, I don't think we have that final push to help us win the final. I think we will make it to the final, but I don't think we are going to win it. But that's not what we're talking about here. It's just the group stage. You know, is there anything else you want to mention? Sorry, I kind of took control of that.
Germany? No. Did you mention Muller? Hello?
Not too much.
No, just Muller. He's a goal scoring machine, so he'll probably be playing right mid. But he scores a lot of goals, and expect him to put up some big goals there for Germany. So I just wanted to quickly mention Thomas Muller there. But Northern Ireland, we'll move on to Northern Ireland. We'll get them out of the way. Unfortunately, I feel they'll be the whipping boys of this group, but they do have a 13-game unbeaten streak.
Yeah.
Coming into the tournament, so I guess that's something
that's a lot more than something, but yeah.
To look out for. They tend to just counter a lot, which is going to be a familiar theme throughout this Euro tournament with a lot of the smaller teams, but they've done a very good job of it. And guys like Will Grigg, who scored all the goals for them, will have to have a very big tournament for him. 24-year-old Wigan striker there. But, Johnny Evans, Premier League player there, and you have Greg Cathcart, also a Watford player in the Premier League. So, like I said, I don't spend too much time on them because I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't feel they'll do that well in this group. The odds against them are very slim, but there could be a surprise, right? You never know. You never know. I don't see them. Maybe even get a tie. Who knows? They could somehow force a tie from either Poland or Ukraine, but I don't expect much from them. That's my take anyway. I don't really expect much from them. Poland is next, and when it comes to Poland, they don't lack forward depth whatsoever, as they have two of the most prolific goal scorers in Europe this season, with Robert Lewandowski, who had 35 goals in the Bundesliga?
30 goals.
30 goals.
I'm pretty sure he just left it at 30. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 30.
I'm thinking Higuain at 36.
Yeah.
Either way, 30 goals. 30 goals is a lot. That's a lot of goals, especially for the Bundesliga, a very talented league, and 30 goals is quite a bit. Milik as well had over 20 goals. In the Dutch league, but still a lot of goals for Ajax.
Yeah, it's 20 goals is 20 goals.
No, exactly. 20 goals is absolutely is 20 goals whether league you're playing in, and that strike force is really going to help them in this tournament. But it's going to come down to the midfield and Krychowiak. I finally learned how to pronounce that. Thank you, Juliana, for that. Krychowiak is a very solid center defensive midfielder for Sevilla and has recently won their third Europa League. So, well, congrats to them on that. But Krychowiak is play a big part in that midfield. He's a solid rock in midfield defensively and offensively. Can complete a couple passes, get those passes in there, and just a complete midfielder who was linked with a lot of big teams. And I could see him leaving this summer, unless he loves it in Spain, then so be it. Peter Zielinski for Empoli this year was incredible. Udine, owned by Empoli, was incredible. And
Definitely player you want to look out for.
Yeah, he's a very young talent exactly a young player to look out for who could really make a statement in these Euros.
Another guy I want to look out for is Karol Linetti. He plays for Lech, and he's another player you want to look out for in the midfield. But it's doubtful whether Grzycki is going to start. He's been a big part for this Poland team. You obviously have experienced veterans like Jakub Blaszczykowski and Lukas Piszczek on the right flank, and then right now it's a toss-up between goalie right now with Wojciech Szczesny and Lukas Fabianski. We both most likely think that Wojciech's going to start over Fabianski, but we have to see what the coach decides because we're obviously not the coach. They actually have a respectable defense. Unless
Szczesny was caught smoking again, I don't think. Yeah. I think he'll be playing.
They have a very, very good defender in Kamil Glik, who plays for Torino. Yeah. And I rate him very well. Bartosz Samlon. I don't think that he's going to start.
Former Milan player. Yeah.
But it's honestly it's just a toss-up between who starts because they have players that can start. They have no They have the right side. They have the right center back and the right back with Piszczek and Glick, but the left side is still up for grabs. So it's up to the coach to decide who he's going to play.
Absolutely.
And one thing you need to really pay attention to, not just the strike force that they have, it's the chemistry that Lewandowski and Milik have. Because you can have these strikers that pair well, that are great, but Milik and Lewandowski, they play really well with each other. Lewandowski can create and score, and just Milik thrives off that. And I think both of them are going to be a very huge part to this Poland team. I think everyone's calling it Lewandowski. If Poland, I'm making a claim, Poland is going to be one of my dark horses. Lewandowski could be a potential European UEFA Cup leading goal scorer. I'd actually very much like to see that.
Golden boot there, yeah.
Yeah, and again, young players to watch is Milik and definitely Zielinski. And is there anything else you want to mention?
No, like I said, Krachowiak is going to have a tough time in the midfield. He's going to do a very good job, and he's going to be the solid rock in the midfield.
He's going to be anchor for the team.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I was trying to sum up the anchor. Yeah, he's going to anchor the team very well. Zielinski, if he starts, I think will do very well, like you said. And then I think their biggest worry is probably defense. I think that's their biggest worry. Yeah, but they don't have a very bad team, and I could see them possibly in the quarters. Like I said, if they get a favorable matchup. I've been saying that a lot, but it all comes down to favorable matchups, right? It all depends on who you play. Last team of the group, Ukraine. They were the former under-21 champions.
It's last year, but the only players that are coming up from that team that definitely want to look at are first Viktor Kovalenko, who's a very, very... He's the guy you need to watch. I think he's one of the most...
a lot of Premier League teams.
I believe he's one of the biggest youngsters coming into this tournament that you definitely need to look at. Another guy who was part of the under-20 team was Alexander Zinchenko. He's a really good player. He's definitely a guy you want to look at. They have a star player in, what's his face, Yevhen Konakbianka and Andrei Yarmolenko, which I think are going to be Ukraine's biggest players for them.
Yeah.
Very pacey, tricky, wide players. They can create, they can score goals. I think they're going to be two of the greatest players they're going to be for them. They have a decent goalie set up. Their defense actually isn't that bad.
Not great. Again, that's probably their weakest point, guys, defense. It's not terrible. It's not great.
But you have to make note that Ukraine, they know that they're going to be a much more compact defensive team. So I don't think
counter. So yeah,
I don't think defense is going to be the biggest worry as long as the midfield does the extra legwork for them. So I think defense is going to, it's going to help. It's going to kind of shield their weakness in a sense, kind of mask it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, again, it's a part of the segment where we choose where the teams are going to finish, and I guess I'll go first again. I've been going first the past few times anyways. I don't think it's a no-brainer that Germany finishes first. Unless they absolutely collapse. Like, I don't see them finishing any lower than first. I'd be really surprised if they did. Germany will probably get all 3 wins in this one. I think they will.
I think they'll get a tie.
I think they'll get all 3 wins. Possibly Poland. Poland gave them a hard time in qualifiers. But I think Germany will finish this one with all 3 wins. If Poland gives them a hard time, maybe a tie. But I think they'll finish with all 3 wins. I think Poland will finish second. Because to me, they have a better team on paper than Ukraine do. But I mean, on paper, it doesn't really matter until the actual game happens. But Lewandowski and Milik are really, really convincing. I mean, it's going to be tough to overlook those two at the strike force. So Poland will finish higher than Ukraine, and Ukraine will finish third, and possibly in one of those 4 third place teams moving on from there. And again, I feel like Northern Ireland are going to be the whipping boys in this group. Unfortunately, you never know. They could do very, very not very well, but could do decent and maybe move on. But I think it's going to be Germany, Poland, and Ukraine. I don't know if there are any Northern Ireland, maybe. I don't know, but no, those 3 for sure. Well, in that order, I think we'll move on. Anyway.
I changed my mind again a little bit. Germany, better be number one in the group. Not just should be, they better be. I'm actually gonna go with. I'm actually gonna surprise you a little bit here. I think it's more intuitive. I actually wouldn't like it see it happen. I don't want to see counter. I don't want to see the whole team just sitting back and like getting a goal off a set piece. But I feel like Northern Ireland is going to really surprise people and maybe get second or third, and then Poland's going to be up next to them, and Ukraine. I would like them to see third, and I think they can do third. But I think Northern Ireland can surprise if they have some of the best momentum coming in. And it's Ukraine first and Poland and Northern Ireland second or third. So we have to see what happens, right?
Yeah. No, I think the matchup that's really going to determine this group is Ukraine-Poland. Whatever happens there, I think is really going to determine their group.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever wins that one will probably finish second.
Yeah.
I feel that's what's going to happen. But yeah, that's the end of Group C, guys. And we'll be back with Group D, which involves Spain and Croatia. One of my dark horses in that group. I'll tell you which one of them are which team is my dark horse next video, so stay tuned for that. Again, if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, and peace.